Welcome once again, everyone. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar. We're going to be discussing the topic of navigating the zero trust journey for today's everywhere workplace. I'm Jay Bansali, a member of the product marketing team here at Ivanti, and I'm joined today by Toshin, who's a part of our technical marketing team. Welcome, Toshin.
Hey, thanks, Jay.
Do you want to quickly give us a little bit of your background?
Sure. Hey guys, Toshin here. I'm a member of the Ivanti technical marketing team. Like Jay said, my focus has been on Apple products and the zero sign-on products. Many of you may have interacted with me while deploying your shared iPads or shared Android devices or deploying the passwordless technology that we have provided. Overall, I have over 10 years of industry experience in different fields: mobile device management, security, and networking. I've worked with companies like Cisco. In fact, I hold a CCIE certification. And overall, I'm very excited to see the new innovations that we are making internally and bringing some of those through these webinars to you. So very excited to be here, and really thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Toshin. Thanks again for joining us today. And I'm Jay Bansali. Much like Toshin, I've worked at a wide variety of organizations, including Cisco and Mobile Iron. And over the last decade or so, my focus has primarily been on unified endpoint management solutions. And I'm really excited to see the journey that the market has taken from where we started off in the MDM space and eventually over time evolved to UEM. And to where we are today, where UEM is a foundational block of enterprises' zero trust security frameworks. And I think this is really critical and goes back to the idea of how device management and security go hand in hand. And we'll talk a lot more about it during the session today. So thanks again for joining us. So with that, we'll talk very briefly about just the notion of the everywhere workplace, how Ivanti sees it, and the expectations that have changed as a result of the everywhere workplace, certain trends that are fueling it. And then we'll talk about the idea of how do you apply zero trust how do you think about zero trust security as it applies to the everywhere workplace. I'll then very briefly touch upon a few Ivanti solutions at a very high level. And then Toshin will walk us through a few use cases and demos to show us how the Ivanti products, in action can help apply zero trust policies at scale. Now, a couple of items on logistics. The slides will be made available. The webinar will also be recorded and made available after the session. And if you have any questions at all, please put them in the Q&A window. We will continue to answer them either through the chat box or live towards the end of the session. So the everywhere workplace. Now, it's funny because the workplace has now, traditionally and historically, the workplace was essentially restricted to office buildings. People went into the office, sat at desktops that were connected to the wired infrastructure. And that essentially was, for most parts, the workplace that employees were used to, right? They were sitting at a terminal and had a very fixed spot. The workplace today is everywhere but the office. And especially with the events of the last year, what we've seen is what was just initially a trend where people like to work remotely is essentially become a disaster recovery and business continuity mandate for a lot of organizations, where now we have the ability to, be it taking meetings on the go to managing our personal lives and tracking everything on these little computers that we have that literally fit in our pockets and can go with us anywhere, right? So along with the benefits that it has brought to our personal lives, mobile devices have completely changed the way we work. Yeah.